Well, guys, what's up? I hope that you can hear me. I'm just going to. Whoa, that was a weird noise. I'm just going to sit here for just a little bit to hopefully allow some of you guys to get in and to also get a little bit of feedback from all of you so that I can hear hopefully that my audio video lag is correct. I think I fixed it after the first episode. A second live YouTube video that we did, I was doing in a hotel on a computer with all of the same equipment, with a laptop instead of my desktop, and seemed to have perfect audio video non-issues. But I'm back in the main office right now, so no idea if it is going to work. But I think I got it figured out, so we'll just wait and see. But I hope all of you guys have had a chance to listen to the most recent episode and hopefully thought about what your practice plan would be. Of course, the audio video lag is still there. Great. This is fantastic. Well, let's see. I'm gonna pull it up on my YouTube. Okay, actually, I'm gonna try this. Kind of looks like I think I got it already working and figured out, so I don't have to do the delays that I have on my video. We'll see. Okay, on my phone, everything looks like it's going pretty good. So let me know how that sounds. Okay, cool. Let's hope. More gooder is better than more worser. Cool. That's good. So, if that is the case, then let me see something. Good. Let's hope that nothing else goes wrong, and we should be smooth sailing from here on out. So I'm just going to throw this out there a little bit. First off, I should let all of you guys know this is not going to be much of an educational episode because it is Wednesday. So the Wednesdays are informals every other month. Every Wednesday is like an informal hangout, kind of a wrap-up summary session of the episode that was released on Monday. And the purpose of these is just to kind of just have some fun, answer some questions, clarify some things, help you guys out. The YouTube live episode that I do next Monday will be more of an educational one, but it doesn't mean we can't answer questions here. So, mo good, son. So, I guess I'll just open the floor for questions. If anybody has anything about anything that they listened to over the previous episode, if there's a lot of big science words that didn't make much sense, then you have any questions over that, feel free to ask anything about that. How many of you were able, let me know in the comments, how many of you were able to have had the opportunity to listen to that episode yet. Let me know. Actually, one thing I'm going to do while we're doing this is put together some stuff to show you guys some things. On YouTube. Okay. Cool. I see how it is, Curtis. Okay, so one thing that I want to show you guys, because I've had a couple people tell me that they don't know how to do this. I mentioned it in the beginning of the episode. I just released it on Monday in terms of like how all of this works. Um, uh, but oh man, getting some big questions coming in. But what I do want to do real quick is I just kind of want to show you guys um, a little bit about how you can go through and look at the timestamps of the episodes that I release, so that way you can kind of, a 2.5 hour podcast or 3 hour podcast is a lot of information. It's hard to get through, and it's hard to like make sense of sometimes. Especially if you obviously not very many people can sit down for that long and listen to the whole thing from start to finish. So I just want to show you on another screen how to work the timestamp thing. So let's just scroll. We'll do that right now as I'm waiting for some questions to come through. Transition over to my left monitor. Let me get this. Okay. Um, Apparently I have nothing but problems. Let me know if, when you guys see me switch over to this screen, let me know if you were able to get audio at all when I was sharing the computer screen to you guys. Um, because if not, then I won't do what I was planning on doing. Okay. Apparently I have nothing but problems. Let me switch back over to this one. I think I got it fixed. All right, let's see if the audio is working. It's showing that it's working on mine. I gotta wait. There's like an annoying 20-second delay here. Okay, I think the audio is back now, so we're good. Okay, sorry if you guys are going to hear some weird audio that's going to sound like there's a delay, but it's because I have my speakers going and probably my mic will pick up on it, but I muted it now, so it should go away. Anyways, okay, so now that we're back on this screen, what I was saying was that this is, I wanted to talk a little bit about how to find the timestamps and episode descriptions, because I've got a lot of people that have been asking about that, because it is such a long podcast to kind of, you know, work through. 2.5, 3 hour long podcasts is complicated to sit down and try to listen to in one episode. So this is the main website. It's dradulovich.com/podcast, and I'm looking over to my left because that's where the monitor is. Actually, you guys can kind of see it in the screen. That's where the there we go. That's where the all of the episodes are on here. But anyways, this right here will always be the most recent episode. And if you go down right here, here's the episode timestamps right here. On my website, you won't be able to click them, but you know, if you're saying like, okay, I want to look at the perfect environment for learning, it starts at 1 hour and 51 minutes. You know, you can just, you know, scroll over and click that somewhere. If you're on YouTube, YouTube is a little bit more complicated to find. But if you're watching any episode on here, if you go down below right here where you can have like the description of the video, you can click show more. You can do this on a phone as well. You click show more, it comes down, and then you literally can click whatever part of the video that you want to go to, and it will take you straight to that part of the video on YouTube. So if I want to start at 129, importance of dopamine while learning, I just click that and it goes straight to 129. So that's really nice. And then the same type of thing happens on your phone, on Spotify, or whatever it is. So that's just a little bit of a thing to help you guys. I'm going to go back to the main camera now. And we're going to get this back. Okay. Very cool. So, dang, Todd, looks like you're on a nice little vacation. Okay, so I'm going to go through and look at these questions real quick and try to start answering them. So, let's see. It looks like the first one, 34 HTS. Oh, I like it, 34 inch. Okay, so last week's episode, good stuff. If you would please explain FeedTask and AFS to the new guy in the room, Justin. Oh, Justin, did you get a new YouTube account? If this is the Justin that I think it is. So let me know what you're talking about by that. Do you mean the rules of FeedTask and AFS, or do you mean how what I talked about in that episode applies to FeedTask and AFS, or are you talking about the difference in mechanics of FeedTask and AFS, like physical mechanics in terms of movement and what's different? All right, keep going down. So Duke says, by accident, on Saturday, I actually implemented one of the things you were talking about by focusing on just one thing during the practice. More gooder. What is this? We're going to have to get t-shirts called, that just say more gooder on it. That's a great contrast between the style of communication and information in my podcasts versus the language of more gooder. Grammatically correct and very cognitively advanced. Okay, Bob says, in practice, we'll be focusing on body rotation and hands, not necessarily breaking the target, but making a good move. Does not breaking affect confidence? So that's a great question. And the answer is that I can't tell you the answer because, confidence is influenced hugely by where you place your value system. So, what basically, whatever result that you're going to place what you use to deem as whether or not what you did was successful, whatever result that you place that value system in, that's going to be the thing that affects your confidence. So the important thing to do that I detailed out in that episode is to predetermine a plan and create a plan for your practice that has you going into practice preemptively deciding that you are going to be practicing on XYZ, and a successful practice will feel like this, and after that practice or during that practice you really will be grading the success of what you're doing based off of that. I also go in that episode into detailing out stuff about how really, if we are actually learning, what type of results should we see and expect if we're focusing on the right thing in terms of results of the consistency of broken targets. Like how many targets you're going to be breaking if you're actually focusing on the right stuff during practice. It's a different answer than you would expect. And then lastly, to understand how to answer an answer for that question would be that you have to understand that you have the conscious choice to decide what and where your confidence is based in. So generally what happens is that if left unchecked, if we don't plan, or if we just go shoot on autopilot, we will be influenced negatively in our confidence if we're not shooting well, if we're not breaking a bunch of targets, because we aren't actually putting conscious attention into the thing that we're trying to learn, which will mean that our sensory perception is not going to be assigned to that thing. We're going to be unaware of whether or not it's good or bad, and so the only thing we have left to grade the shot, being that shooting is an open loop system, will be the result of the shot, and then therefore you're not going to feel good about it when you do it well. So all it takes for it not to influence your confidence is for you to assign something to consciously pay attention to that you are trying to execute physically in your movement during the shot, that you're being aware of and grading and judging and assessing at the end of every shot, and that you're trying to make better for every one of the next shots. So if you're doing that consciously, and very important that we do that consciously, then I don't think it will affect your confidence. Let's see. Yeah, JJ said, I should do a podcast with Huberman. There's so much science that doesn't seem to be talked about or taped into that can relate to shooting. It's so true. Shooting is such an interesting game because the delicacy, it wouldn't be right. The delicate relationship. Oh my gosh. The delicate relationship between what's important and required to do the right thing in our game, and the beautiful blend between all of those different things is really, really cool. and there is a lot of really interesting science that, can be talked about and learned through that type of filter. It's absolutely fascinating for someone that likes to learn about that kind of stuff. I really would recommend. It's counterintuitive to having you guys be able to pay attention to and listen to my podcasts, but the Huberman Lab podcast really is an unbelievably valuable podcast. I don't know if there's anything I've ever seen podcast wise that you can learn more stuff about, not just about things like neurology of learning and visual science and how your brain interprets things and all this stuff, but how to be healthier, how to increase motivation, how to so many things. It's a very cool podcast. Okay, so Justin, okay, real quickly, I'll answer Ron. He said that he thought this live was on Monday 1-30. There will be a live episode on Monday. This one, if you see in the title, it says Informal YouTube Live. It's just, and it has the name of the most recently released episode in it because it's kind of an informal hangout, not educational. I don't have any notes prepared for this because it's just kind of just hanging out, creating a community, and answering questions. That's right now. These episodes will be every Wednesday, like every week, unless something happens and I have to reach out to everybody and let everybody know that it's going to be rescheduled. But the plan is always 2 episodes every week for the Journey podcast. Every single Wednesday will always be a community hangout. There is no rules to this one. There's no planned information. As we go further on in the future, we'll be incorporating really cool community events, like a lot of really fun things on Wednesdays. The other episodes are always going to be released on Mondays. Every Monday there will be an episode, but it will alternate between being a recorded episode like the one that I just put out 2 days ago, or being an additional YouTube live episode. But that YouTube live episode will be formal and educational and have planned notes and have a whole structured system to the information that I'm communicating. So, like I said, every week there will be 2 episodes released, but some weeks it'll be a recorded episode that you can listen to passively, and then on Monday, and then on Wednesday will be this, and then every week after that will be a live episode on Monday and a live episode on Wednesday. But the Monday one will be educational and the Wednesday will be for fun. Okay, Justin, I haven't forgot about you, but that's a really long question to answer, so I'm going to go through some of the stuff I can answer quickly. Damon, is it better for working? I might have missed the question that you asked because all I see is we have audio and then is it better for working, so I don't know what you mean. And Chris is here. What's up, Chris? For the practice plan homework, did you want us to use the shoot analysis sheet or just wing it? You're asking questions that are like trying to get cheat answers. You're trying to have me cheat for you. That's not fair. I'm just kidding. You can or cannot. It depends on what you want. I sometimes use a shoot analysis sheet to help me direct the focus of what I want to use on my practice. And other times I have something in particular that I don't need to use a shoot analysis sheet to determine for. So that's up to you. If you feel like there's nothing specific that you know that you want to work on or that you feel is relevant for the future of whatever your shooting schedule is, then I would say use a shoot analysis sheet. But if you feel like you do know something particular that you want to work on that you don't need a shoot analysis sheet for, then you don't have to. But yeah, the goal for that practice thing is not necessary. It's basically to do a self-assessment like I talked about in the very first recorded episode. Like, do a self-analyzation or shoot analysis, self-assessment, whatever that you want to call it, and find what you feel like is your lowest hanging fruit, the one thing that you feel like is costing you the most targets right now. That would maybe be the easiest thing to do, the easiest thing to get better on. And then with that very individualistic, specific thing, create a practice plan around that. So, that can be a physical mechanic, it can be a visual mechanic, it can be a routine process. There's so many different things that it can be, but basically be creative, create a practice routine around that, and then try it out and see how it goes. And okay, so is it better to just pick one station and grind it out for what you're working on for practice? That is another great question. I would say it really depends on what your practice is, so for some of you, the answer to that question will be yes. If you're, but some of you, the answer to that question will be no. So, for example, let's say that you are working on trying to learn a specific thing that you're trying to do with your eyes in the movement of the shot. Then what I would do, I would structure a practice where for maybe the first 50% of it, I'm literally only doing one target or pair. If it's with the eyes, say it's a specific mechanic that happens in between the shots. So like how you move your eyes from first shot to the second shot, then do it with a pair. If it's a thing where you're trying to, practice specifically, creating that smooth pursuit vision as movement as early and as good as possible, more gooder smooth pursuit vision, then I would say use a single bird. And for 50% of your whole practice, just stand in the same place, shooting the same target, trying to do the same thing over and over and over and over again, bringing in what we talked about in the episode that I released 2 days ago, which was, volume or repetition per time unit. So we want to increase that repetition in a short amount of time, focusing on one specific thing. And then I would use one specific pair or target from the same place, so that way it's always the same thing, so that it's easier to consciously focus on and try to like continuously make better from shot to shot. Then for about after you shoot 50% of the practice, I would say that it would probably be a good thing to try to maybe get some variety in, but still focusing on the same mechanic. So that way you initially started off the practice drilling the actual mechanic, then you finish the practice off drilling your conceptual understanding of the mechanic when applied in different ways. That's a great setup for a practice, but that's just one example. But there are other mechanics, like if one of the things that you're trying to practice is not an actual mechanic, and instead it's like you want to exercise your ability to read targets, create a good plan, and specifically be able to know how a specific pair that you shoot would feel when you actually shoot it, but before you shoot it, then I would say a variety is a hugely valuable thing, because you can go through a course, look at a pair, make a plan, read it, try to feel and understand what the pair would feel like to shoot, and then shoot it and see how close you were and do it for a few pairs and move on. It just really depends. That's the thing, is that, creating and using creativity and abstract ideas and pulling that into practice is always good, because it allows you to, practice based off of what you're trying to practice. And if I didn't answer this already, Ron, yes, Monday all the YouTube lives are going to be 7 p.m. Central. Jacob says, "Gotta go. It's rain today. Gotta go win the double-headed monster back from Joe." Oh my gosh! Thanks, man. Hey, go kick some butt over there. That's hilarious. Okay, sounds good, Justin. Maybe what I'll do is, if you're headed to bed, I'll shoot you a message with the answer to that later. Um, okay, Ron, I put it in a sheet today on a practice I did yesterday. I saw that. I was on the middle of a call when that came through. I'm sorry, guys. This is like the noisiest chair I've ever had. It's terrible. I get some WD-40 or something. But that's cool. Yeah, no problem, Chris. Gary is here. Cool. Good to see you, Gary. Okay, so true pair that are on a similar path give me fits. I can shoot the target separately or report pair easily, but not true pair. So 9 times out of 10, the reason why that is happening is because your the level of visual focus that you're using, I would say visual focus or visual attention that you're using, is not good enough. It's you're kind of like not allowing yourself to titrate in your focus onto one bird, and you're kind of staying more peripherally aware and using a little bit of passive visual focus, which is probably a 50-50 blend between that smooth pursuit movement and the saccadic movement in your eyes. And so it never really lets you feel connected to the bird. I would try a good drill for that would be actually to be throwing the pair but have one shell, because psychologically what happens if we have 2 shells and we're trying to shoot the pair, then we just kind of try to pay attention to both birds a little bit too much. We never actually connect into one of them. So what I like to do a lot of times is throw the pair, throw both birds, have one shell in the gun, and the specific mechanic that you're going to be working on is nothing physical. It's actually visual. And so your goal will be from shot to shot to have conscious attention on the way that your eyes are connecting to the bird, trying to see specific detail on one bird and pulling the trigger when you do, and do that enough times to where you feel like you understand what it feels like and can understand the way that you experience doing that with your eyes. Then load another shell and then shoot the pair, but with the singular focus of doing that on the first bird. And then as soon as you do that on the first bird, then second bird is completely different. Hopefully that answers your question, Gary. Brandon says, I don't know if you covered this, if I covered this in the episode, but what are my thoughts on practicing repeatability? I've been doing drills that make me shoot a certain bird 5 times in a row before I move on. I have also been practicing the feeling of running a station, trying to focus on the feeling of getting... Oh, you're probably running out of characters on the comments. I'll keep waiting. Okay. Trying to focus on the feeling of getting through the station. Just wondering your thoughts and if you personally do any drills like that. Yeah. I think what you mean by that is practicing being able to repeat the same thing over and over again to have consistent results. So like you're stretching the amount. In a normal station, you'd shoot 3 to 4 pairs. You're trying to do it 5 times to practice that. Let me know if I'm right about that. Also, give me like 1 second. I will be right back. I'm gonna get some water real quick and throw away this gum because I feel like it's definitely coming through in the mic. That's annoying for some of you. All right, I'll be right back. No, now we're back. um, the 5 times. Okay, so the 5 times is on single bird. So yeah, that's totally fine. What I would do, Brandon, tell me what like your experience level is. Like, do you shoot NSCA tournaments? If so, what class are you in? What scores do you normally shoot? And I can maybe refine that a little bit for you and help you make it better. So Chris says, can you speak about proprioception on a target that brings a target that hangs in the air for a long time, such as a big crosser, as opposed to a target that requires a quicker shot, such as a bird shot on the way up? I feel it much more difficult to not get that medium bad picture if there is too much time to take the bird. That's a good question, and actually, this topic kind of got brought up in a phone call that I had with Jason Rambo. Maybe it was yesterday. We were talking about this to kind of plan something for some stuff we may be doing together, and it's kind of, I think, a little bit of a misconception of what proprioception is. So proprioception does not mean that you don't know where the gun is. Proprioception means that you are not consciously controlling your body. So like there is a differentiation between barrel or gun awareness visually and proprioception. Those two things are not one and the same. So it does not mean that the higher level proprioception that you have, the lower level of barrel awareness that you have. That's not the case. You could have 100% proprioceptive connectedness with the bird and 100% visual awareness of the barrel. A good example of a shot like that would be taking an incoming teal exactly at the apex where it's not moving at all, and basically the gun is right on the bird, and there's not enough space in between where your center ocular position is and where the gun is in relation to center ocular, to make it to where it's possible to have the gun outside of your conscious awareness in your vision. And so where we can lose proprioception on a shot like that is if we look at the gun and start to, or even if we're peripherally trying to stay aware of the gun and trying to consciously control the placement of it. That's the biggest thing. So basically, maintaining a proprioceptive connection with the target is more about your psychological discipline or your mental discipline to not want to give in to that emotional state or fear of missing, and then consciously place the gun with an awareness of how your body is moving. So in order to increase your proprioceptive connection with the bird in a bird like that, like what you're talking about, you would basically, what you would want to do is just maintain conscious awareness and conscious attention on seeing the target. You would want to connect your eyes to the bird. A great way to do it would be to consciously pay attention to the feeling that your eyes have as they're moving with the target, and try to feel that smoothness in the way that the ocular muscles are moving using smooth pursuit vision. That would increase and maintain proprioceptive movement. Hopefully that answers your question. Let me know if it doesn't. Nate says, trying to figure out how to know how to decide if I'm picking product or process if you're not there. The answer would just be, do you feel your body moving? After you take a shot, would you be able to explain to somebody who is not there the way that shot felt in your whole body? If you can explain that, then your attention is on the process, and it would be the process that your attention is on would be whatever you're consciously deciding to work on in that moment. If after you take the shot you can't explain in very good detail how it felt or anything like that, and what you did wrong and what you did great, then you're too consciously focused on the product, because that's where your conscious attention is. Okay, so Brandon says masterclass, shoot around 9,500 registered targets per year. Usually shoot in the low to mid 90s on regular registered course. Okay, so Brandon, if that's the case, I would make that 5 times on a single bird thing. I would make that like 25 times. Shoot a whole box on one bird, and work on the repeatability of the mechanics, not necessarily on the mechanics first, and you can change what you're picking to have as your focus. But I would up that to 25 times if that's where you are at in your proficiency level. Make it higher, and that will help you. But yes, doing that is totally fine. Um, Very cool. Okay, I need a new chair badly. Oh, I guess I just noticed this. I have my Jack Link's shirt on. So, how many of you are going to the Jack Link's Cup in Florida? Let me know. Okay, so let's do this. I'm gonna end this poll because we have a good amount of people, and I'm gonna start another one. And only 3% of you told me to stop asking stupid questions. I thought you guys were gonna give me more crap than that. I've gotten used to the banter, and now I'm almost gonna develop a complex that you're not making fun of me. So I kind of don't know what to do with this. Okay. I don't know what this is. Okay, so I just started a Q&A in the comments. I have no idea what that does, so we'll see what happens. If I just totally mess something up, then I'll undo that. But I think that what that does is allows me to highlight your questions on the video, so we'll see. Lily. Cool, it's good to see you. Um, I'm learning with you guys as we do this, so we'll see. Oh, no, I don't think that worked the way that I thought it was. So, we're just going to end that. Okay, sorry. I can get distracted easily. So, Brandon says, so it's interesting. The reason that I do 5 is so I can move through the different targets. We have a grid style practice field set up with 8 different traps. That's awesome. Let me know how many shots you normally shoot in a practice. It's good to balance both really high volume in terms of the exact same thing, and then also variability. So I like to kind of do both styles of practice. If you shoot a lot of targets in a practice, then you can do both of them at the same time. If you don't shoot a lot of targets in a practice, then what I would do is have one practice set up where it's about, maybe literally only shooting 3 to 4 birds, different targets, and then have other practices where you have a lot of differentiation between different targets or different places that you're shooting the same targets, because what you're doing is you're exercising 2 different things. If you're doing, so like when I practice, a good practice for me is anywhere from 500 to 750 shots. So if I'm doing 500 to 750 shots, about 125 to maybe 200 targets or 200 shots is the exact same thing for me. So that allows me, to kind of get 3 or 4 different, I say 3 to 5 different presentations or targets that I'm working on. I do it in sets of 50. So if it's a single, I'll go and I'll shoot 50 shots and then take a break for 5-10 minutes, then shoot 50 shots, take a break for a few minutes, and I'll do that about 3 to 4 times from the same place doing the same thing. Then I'll move on and do something else. If I'm trying to have variability, then then I do it completely differently, and I still like the 50 shot thing. Put 2 boxes of shells in my pocket and in my bear pelt vest, a little plug there, and I will I'll empty my pocket and then do another presentation or target, empty my pocket, do another one, but that amount of shots is a really good amount to be able to really dive deep into understanding conceptually and through your perception of awareness what is really happening, and give yourself enough valuable information. Cool. So Lily wants to know if I'm planning on attending the Northeast Regional. I am. I think I was just on a phone call earlier, like right before this, planning on a schedule. I'm pretty sure I'm going to all the regionals except for the one in Colorado, I think it is, or Nevada. I don't remember. But I'm going to the North Central at Northbrook, the South Central at Covey Rise, the Southeastern at Big Red Oak, and the Northeastern at M&M. Those 4 I'll be out. I'm also going to the U.S. Open, World Championship, and the Nationals. I think that's my whole schedule. Oh, and the Arkansas State shoot, and I think probably the Ohio State shoot. Let's see. So, rabbits are killing my score. I shoot everything well except rabbits. How do you practice rabbits? There are so many reasons why you could be struggling with rabbits, and I know this is a long shot, but it would be really helpful for me to answer your question as good as possible. I can throw out a way to practice rabbits, but it might not even apply to you, and there would be no way that you would know if it would apply to you or not. So here's the long shot question. Do you possibly have a video of you shooting a rabbit? And if you do, if you do, send it to me on Instagram or on Facebook, or I can put my phone number up and you can shoot me in a text message if you have an iPhone. If you have a Android, don't do that because it won't come through really good. But if you do have a video of that, let me know, and then let me know what kind of phone or something that you have, and I'll let you know how to send it. Will I be able to do some lessons afterwards? Yes, I don't know why I wouldn't be able to. I would actually really like to try teaching at Joe Skull's place, which I think is pretty close to Eminem. I mean, I could easily teach at Eminem too. I just don't know. Sometimes after a big shoot like that, it's hard to teach at those clubs because they basically, for the next few days after the shoot, immediately afterwards, they're tearing down everything and relocating traps and stuff to where they normally should be. So I can call Anthony and ask him what is going to be going on there and set something up like that. But that'd be great. I'd love to work with you. Austin says, so first year competing, looking forward to it. Just found your podcast and all the extensive knowledge you've posted, and wow, has helped a lot along with straight shooting from Anthony. Very cool. Thank you for telling me that, and it's awesome to hear that you just started and started off with 2 really awesome sets of information. So that's great to hear. How did you first start? And like, where do you live? Dang, you don't have a video. Okay, Jason, this is what I would recommend, because rabbits are a pretty common thing that people struggle with. Let me know when the next time is that you will be able to practice and possibly go be able to shoot a rabbit. And the next time you do shoot it, film yourself. And if you can get it done before next week, then I'll pull the video up on this live YouTube live, and I can actually go through and do some really cool annotation and shooting analysis stuff, and I can dissect what's happening and show you what you're doing wrong and show you how to change it. It'll be really, really helpful. But that'd be awesome. I shot a box at 1 pair of rabbits and never had one. Nate, were you shooting aluminum rabbits? Oh man, I'm vaguely didn't we shoot a rabbit? There was like a rabbit on in a lesson one time. I remember it being a right to left black rabbit, kind of like off of a little tiny mound, or it was going up a little mound or something. Yeah, I remember this. We were standing up on that platform and there was a rabbit that was I just got your text, so that sounds good. And whoever the person that sent me this will know what I'm talking about, and good to hear from you. Let's see. Awesome. I grew up guiding duck and goose hunts. Oh, nice. Oh, cool. Well, dang, it looks like you got a fun job, Austin. That sounds fantastic. Very cool. Well, if you live outside of San Antonio, you have plenty of awesome places to shoot at. That is a great place to live, to be a sporting clays shooter. That is awesome. Very cool. Yeah, I love quail hunting. I'm a huge grouse hunter. I did a lot of goose and duck hunting up when I lived in Ohio. Now that I live in Arkansas, like 30, 40 minutes away from the best duck hunting in the world, I don't duck hunt that much, which doesn't make any sense. But man, last year the ducks were just so, it was not good. I heard, I don't know if this is true, and you might know this, Austin, but I heard typical population of ducks in like around the Stuttgart area or in Arkansas is, I can't remember if it was like 1.2 million or 2.1 million or something. But last year was only about 250,000. That really sucks. Yeah, Nate, I remember that. Oh man. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can. I don't know how I would do this. I do know how. Okay, Nate, I'm going to. I don't know if you probably didn't get a chance to shoot it, but the last tournament that I set, I think it was the last one that I set in Rochester. Um, I set this awesome, uh, like, when I say awesome, I mean awesome rabbit, and we labeled it. It gained the nickname of the sewer rat, and and I have a video of it, and I can put it up. I should be able to put it up and play it for you so you can see. It is so cool. Where is it? May 2021. This is 2022. So I gotta go. Here we go, I think. Where are you, Mr. Sewer Rat? Okay. Here we go. Let me send this to myself. We'll do. And man, this was the coolest rabbit I've ever seen. But Nate, if I show you this, you're gonna have some nightmares. Okay. That is not a good year for duck hunting last year. Um, no, Brandon, you don't have to step your numbers up. That's totally fine. How often do you practice? Let me know, because that's also a pretty, I don't tend to be able to. I normally don't have the time or ability to practice that often. So when I do, I have to up the number of targets, and that's why that's the case. Um, Sewer rat. I thought it was the sewer rat. Uh, oh no, the mole was the run. Yeah, we also did a 70 millimeter rabbit once, and rigged it up to where it was like we rolled it over to where there was no, obviously there's no such thing as a 70 millimeter rabbit, but we rigged the machine up to have a 70 millimeter rolling across the ground. Oh, I'm losing connection. Okay, I'm. You guys may have lost connection. I may have lost connection, but I think I'm back now. So, anyways, yeah, we took a 70 millimeter machine, like a 70 millimeter target that flies through the air, and we rigged the machine up to where it was on its side, and we rolled the target on the ground. The reason why we could do that was because at 70 millimeter, the structural integrity of that target is so good, because it's so small that it can take a pretty good impact on rolling on the ground, and it's light, and it was one of the nastiest but coolest targets. I mean, you're literally shooting at a bird this big rolling across the ground. It was awesome. What else we got? If I've missed anybody's questions, let me know. I'm trying to stay up to date with them, but it's hard. Uh, okay, I've heard. Scroll up to Curtis's question. Curtis says, as we are diagnosing shooting so conscious, it gets worse and worse because it's more and more conscious. I keep losing. Let me know if you guys are seeing the fact that I keep losing a connection. But anyways, Curtis, I read your question about being more and more conscious and getting worse and worse. For you being the fact that you're left-handed, you just don't have the ability to be able to do that correctly. So you're just kind of SOL, basically, is what I would say. Oh man, I heard you laughing in the other room. Oh my god. The okay. I gotta watch it. I almost spit my drink all over my mic. Okay, so what? Okay, so oh man. So I'm gonna read that over again and just be a little bit more serious. Curtis is at my house right now. He's in the other room. He's yelling at me. He's yelling profanities. I'm gonna get kicked off YouTube for having bad foul language in my YouTube lives. Okay, so basically, I'm going to read that again and be a little bit more serious. So, as we are diagnosing a stumble in a practice session, how do I avoid going down the path of shooting so conscious it gets worse and worse because it's more and more conscious? So, actually, dependent on what you mean by conscious. So I know that you're like, you could just tell me, but say it in the chat so everybody can hear, because just define what you mean by conscious, because actually, well, I don't want to give away the secret yet. Just define what you mean by getting more and more conscious. Like, basically, what is it that you're getting more and more conscious of? Let's see. Okay, so you mean purposeful and aware of the move and vision and the gun, the whole shot process. Okay, so actually, I know that you haven't been able to listen to the episode yet, but in the episode that I just released 2 days ago, that is almost a good 30% of the whole episode is directly answering your question. So it's actually pretty cool neurological science. And the reality of it is that as long as you can try to maintain your conscious attention on one thing, it doesn't matter what it literally doesn't matter what it is. As long as you're not like being consciously aware of lead or something. I actually break down 3 different things that you can assign your sensory perception to, and that's in that episode. But if you pick one thing and stay consciously aware of it for the shot, actually becoming so consciously aware of it that it starts to negatively impact your result of the shot. The answer is in that episode. I don't want to give it away because it's really, really important. And if anybody wants to know the answer to that question, it's in that episode. And I will tell you what part of the episode for those of you who want to listen directly to it. It'll be, I have the thing up here. It would be in I'm gonna type it in the chat. It's like a combination of a couple different parts of the episode, but I will put it in here. So here, it's going to be in this part, 3 core components to learning. It's going to be in this part, making mistakes while learning. And it's going to be in this part, the importance of dopamine while learning. Those 3 categories kind of cover it. It really, though, honestly, the answer to your question is the whole podcast. It just kind of details it all out in there. Let's see what else we got. Okay. Yeah, the rabbit at the AFS championship. If you shot it in Fort, it would disappear in the water void. That was cool. Okay, Austin says, so David, if I truly want to get better, I know range time and plenty of rounds, but what kind of shoots should I work on? Averaging low 90s currently and trying to start working with an instructor. So it's really hard to say. I mean, if you're masterclass, I would probably assume that the 90s that you're shooting are legitimate tournaments, but because if you're if you're shooting a lot of easy targets and you're averaging 90s, that's totally different than if you're at regionals and shooting low 90s. So tell me, like, what was the biggest tournament that you went to last year? Also, the whole connection thing I realized was because I was uploading some videos to Dropbox on my phone. And, oh, wait, am I confusing 2 people? You said D class. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. ADHD. I combined 2 different people. Brandon was the one in masterclass. Austin in D class. So, okay, so I'm sorry. I know the difference. I'm just confusing different comments. So if you're just starting out, really, the thing that you want to do is you want to be, you don't need to go to big major tournaments. You kind of want frequency of tournaments over the size of tournaments, because getting experience competing and being in the mindset of competing and the whole scenario of how that works is really, really valuable. So I would say just, you in your area, you have a lot of clubs to go to that host a lot of tournaments, and so I would say as often as you can afford, go to those tournaments, even if they're weekly or monthly little tournaments. Just get the experience of doing that. Over time, as you rank up and you get more experience, you become more comfortable, and you develop a routine to work both inside and outside of a tournament. Then start picking bigger tournaments. And I would say that can kind of happen after a year or so. I mean, if you immediately want to go to a big tournament, that's great. But the cost of doing that is so much greater than going to a bunch of other tournaments. And, like for the cost of going to one major tournament somewhere, you could go to, seriously, you could go to 10 monthly tournaments. So depending on your financial situation, that really is kind of the best thing to do, is go to the monthly tournaments, practice that. And then, maybe after about a year, then say, okay, I want to start to expand my horizons and my experience level and go to bigger events in different areas, maybe travel to some places, see different, but literally strategically pick, like, okay, I want to shoot a tournament, up in the northern part of the country, or the Northeast, or over in Florida, and to get experience in different terrain, different topography, different target setters and stuff like that. That would be the process I would take. Oh, dang, awesome! If you're doing 8 tournaments a year and 1 to 2 times a week practice, that's literally perfect. I mean, that's awesome. 1 to 2 times a week practice is great. If you haven't listened to the episode yet that I released last 2 days ago, look at. I'm gonna send you this. I'm gonna send you. Where is it? This part of the podcast will be really helpful to you in relation to how frequently should you practice and how much. It'll be very, very, very helpful. And for those, if you're, yeah. Got some funny comments here. Nate says, if I'm practicing and keep missing, I'm concentrating on my body. How do I know if I'm doing the right thing if the targets don't break? That's a good question. It depends on what you're trying to focus on. And I would say that, the easiest way to know to know if you're doing the right thing is that you should try to be practicing things that you did, like with me in a lesson, where if there's a specific mechanic that we worked on or a specific thing that we did and you can detail out and or remember what it felt like to do it correctly, then you want to try to repeat the experience of feeling that happen. And that's how you'll know if you're doing it right. Over time, the break percentage will increase, and then your result of the shot will be more aligned with your result of your execution. If you're trying to do things that you haven't worked with somebody on yet to tell you if you're doing it wrong or right, then that's a little bit harder. I mean, if you're trying something that you've never experienced before, just the best way to do is to put a heavy emphasis on your awareness and learn to be able to, by feeling the way that your body worked or moved or the way that you perceived things, be able to have a level of self-awareness that's high enough to be able to feel that and then understand what that would translate to in movement. And then if you struggle with that, then I would say, if you can, record yourself shooting and then send a video to me and just say, am I doing this right? And I'll let you know, as long as you let me know what you're working on. Let's see, what else we got here? Yeah, Curtis, I mean, the reality of it is actually I can't explain it better than I did in that episode here. But I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of marketing involved in that. Let's see. I went to M&M last weekend to shoot the long bird, short bird course. There was one target where my left eye took over on a high right to left. Shondell, that's a quartering shot. I'm guessing it was 50 yards at least. How do you stop the left eye from taking over? This isn't coming out correctly. Shondell ended as a quartering shot. I never broke it. Okay. Let me read that again and picture it. On a high right to left, Shondell. That was a quartering shot. Selling eggs for Cisco has been good. That's probably pretty dang true. Okay, so Lily, I would say, and it's impossible for me to know exactly because I can't see the shot or see you shooting it, but the way that eye dominance works is that it's not really possible for your dominance to change with nothing externally influencing it. Like, it's not possible for it to change in the middle shot. Actually, there's a lot of evidence to prove and say that it can't even change throughout your lifetime. unless you have a neurological or muscular issue with your ocular muscle, with like misalignment or things like that. There's some people that argue that that is untrue, but the people that I talk to say that it is true, that your eye dominance can't change like ever, unless those types of things. Other things that can change it are, actually no, yeah. So it depends. So I am not saying that your left eye did not take over. What I'm saying is that that if you feel like it did take over, which obviously I would trust that you would know that it did, then that means that it's not a neurological or visual or internal issue. It is an external thing, which basically can only mean occlusion. And if I am picturing that shot in my head and understanding what's happening at right to left shot, and dependent on the mechanical style that you were using, it's very possible that the gun, your hand, or even something in your glasses occluded your right eye from seeing the bird, being that it's a chandelle starting on the ground, going up very high right to left, which would mean that the gun would be on the right side of your face. And if you were trying to look at it in a certain way, you could have occluded the shot, especially if you were taking a shot where the position of the gun was above the bird for a long period of time, and the depth of focus of your eyes was not far out. So if that was the case, then I would say that what probably happened was, or the way to correct it from happening, is to make sure that the focal depth of your eyes is very far out, and that the physical position of the gun in your upper body is not in a position to where it can occlude your eyes. So, or your eye, one of your eyes. A lot of times what happens. Do I have a gun in here? No. Okay, give me a few moments. I'm gonna go grab a gun, and I can actually demonstrate what I'm talking about here. I will be right back. Okay. Thank you, Curtis, for bringing me my gun. um, the Let me actually. I'm gonna take the barrel and forend off this because it'll be easier to show you. I won't hit the wall with my gun. Okay, so a lot of people tend to. Let me get the focus back on me. No, come on. There we go. Okay, so a lot of people tend to mount the gun and move it differently depending on the height of the shot. And this is what I mean by that. So if we have a shot that's high up in the air, and let's say that this is the typical relationship that we have with the body and the gun, like you know, I mean, I know this isn't a perfect a fit, but just for demonstration. So let's say like this would be the relationship that I would have with the gun, and we can see that if I draw a line back from the basically where the rib would be to my eyes, that my eye is over the rib, right? And I'll actually get to where, so I can get at the bottom of the screen so we can see. Okay, right there. So that's not a very good example. But anyways, you can kind of see that the rib, my eye is over the rib. But if I move in a way where as I'm going up, if I don't do it in my posture, keeping everything that's happening here, all the geometry, the same and consistent and not changing, and if instead I go up with the gun with my hands and not my body, then I can actually occlude my right eye just by the plane that the gun is, excuse me, sorry, got hiccups, just by the plane that the gun is in relationship to my upper body in terms of my posture. So what I want to do if I'm going up is I want to move like this. So my whole posture, let me do it by standing. I'm gonna get further back so you guys can see me a little better. Let's see, right. It's a good thing I have pants on. Okay, so let's do this. I don't know if it'll let me. I hope I don't mess something up. Nope, it's not gonna let me. Okay, so we'll just go here. This would be the correct way of moving in posture. I hope you guys can hear. So let's say that I'm here. If I want to move on a shot up and down, I would want to do this in my whole body. So you can see as I'm doing that, I'm not, nothing here is changing, and I'm changing my posture in relationship with the point of impact, the vertical point of impact, by changing my posture, and that's all. If I do it incorrectly, it can look like this. And that's going to occlude the eye. I'll get a little closer and show you. Or if I'm shooting low gun, it can be a difference between this and where the gun should be in my shoulder, which would be this. That versus this. That versus this. That type of thing is very, very common in shooting birds that are high up in the air, and easily causes occlusion, which can force the left eye to take over because the right eye is completely blocked by the gun. Happens a lot on birds up in the air, and for a right-handed shooter, a right to left bird, or a left-handed shooter, a left to right bird. Let's see, what else have we got question-wise? Nate, I remember that. That was fun. You've had a few pairs like that. David C. Chris's answer. Are you talking about just saying that it's an international target with a bunch of spring? Yeah. Yeah, that Lily, I would say that's what you would want to do. Just try that next time. Make it happen. And if it's the second bird of a pair and you're moving and you have to move up with it as you go, make that happen in your posture. So like you take the first shot and bang, and then the second shot is all in posture. If it's the first bird of a pair, then make sure you set that posture for that break point and maintain the same plane of your gun as you go through the mount. That will make all the difference. Thanks, Austin. I appreciate that. For now, these videos are going to be the Wednesday videos that are informal are going to stay up on YouTube. But Later on as we go, I'll probably not keep them up on you. I mean, these ones will always be, but later on, they won't be. So they won't be able to be there to come back to watch. So it will be valuable to come to the lives, to do that, to participate and get the information. My purpose in doing that is that I will always keep the YouTube videos up that I do live on every other Monday. Those will always be there because those are actual real episodes for the podcast. But in the future, these hangouts won't be real. I mean, they're not real episodes. There's nothing I'm presenting to you guys, just answering questions and hanging out. And as the audience grows, then I'm wanting these to transition into being something that encourages people to come to hang out, because I want people. I'm loving what's happening here and seeing how many people are engaging, not just with me, but with each other. And that's really important for me, because I want people to feel like they're meeting new people and making friends and stuff like that through this. So that way you have people that can encourage you and kind of it's like if you're trying to work out and get healthier, having an accountability partner in that is always very valuable and helpful. I want to do the same thing with the podcast and the community of people that are created through it. I think that would be cool. What else? I agree, Austin. That'd be very cool. I actually am already kind of planning some stuff like that at the big tournaments. I would like to eventually, either at nationals or at something. It would be really cool. We can't do it this year because it's not going to be in the United States. But the year after that, next year, the World Championship will be in the United States. Actually, both World Championships will be in the United States. So I would love to have a tent for the podcast for people to hang out and do like a little community dinner one night. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Now, Nate and Ron are finally saying the comments that I paid them to say. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. A lot of the people that participate in the podcast and listen are students, which makes sense because those are the people that pay attention to the stuff that I release the most often. But what's cool is that I try to present the information that I do in my episodes and on these lives in a way that doesn't require you to be a student and shoot my mechanics. Because it would be cool for it to be helpful for anybody. And obviously the matching tattoo, that's hilarious. Obviously it would be cool to be able to do lessons with everybody, but it doesn't have to be something that's done. But I do appreciate it, and it's fun to see so many people. I mean, what I really enjoy about doing these things is, I see your names on here, but I actually know who you are, and we're friends, and that's cool. It's a cool experience. Very, very neat. I really enjoy it. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Awesome. That'd be a lot of fun. Eggs for dinner. Someone explain to me. I keep seeing this all over social media about like these memes and like jokes about the price of eggs. What is going on with this? And I guess probably Austin might be the perfect person to answer that question. Maybe, I don't know. But what's going on with this? Yeah, Nate, it's always fun having lessons with you. It's always with everyone. It's always an enjoyable time. One of the coolest things about the way that my job works is that you it's different than, so if I were like a doctor or something, you do have patients that you become close with if they're seeing you a lot, but with being a shooting coach, I get to spend so much time with everybody that as you work together, and you're working towards, similar goal. You're working to help that person accomplish the goal, and you get to know each other, and it literally turns into, you just end up hanging out with your friends all day, and you develop relationships with these people, with all of you guys, and it's really really fun. It's a cool thing. It never feels like work. It's not work. I gotta be honest. I'm very lucky. Um, Jason, that is hilarious. Nobody had dental records, and everybody has the same DNA. I can tell you that's true. Coming from Ohio to come down to live here, interesting experience. No, it's not. I actually love Arkansas. It's a beautiful. I was just talking about this today with Curtis. It's a beautiful place. If you like the outdoors, it's so beautiful. I mean, you have the mountains, you have beautiful flooded timber. The hunting is amazing. It's a cool place to live. And yeah, there are definitely some areas that you do not want to avoid because nobody has dental records and everyone has the same DNA. That's for sure. But there's also some really really cool places. And Little Rock is great if you don't like, if you like a city that has everything, without a lot of traffic. It's awesome. Holy crap! 15 dozen eggs used to be $45 2 months ago, and now they're 80 to 85. Wow, that's unbelievable. I did not know that. Southgate. Huh. Well, you learn something new every day. Sounds good, Todd. Well, hey, enjoy the vacation. I'm jealous. It's like 30 degrees here. It sounds like you're having a lot more fun. Awesome. That'd be a pretty cool idea. I would. I'm trying to think through that. That would. Well, actually, Austin. Soon. I did all this. It's actually really cool, but it's not out yet. I have an app, like a real app, not like an app where you go to a website and save the website onto your phone. I'll pull it up on my phone. I have the beta version. Um, so I built an app that you can get on an iPhone or an Android, um, that is going to house everything. So all of the YouTube videos, all of the uh, let me see. Is my thing mirrored? Yeah, it is. I wonder how I unmirror it. You're not gonna be able to see. Let me see. Okay, there might be something that happens very weird. Uh, let's see. Okay, to get unmirrored. Yeah. Okay, I just flipped the video so that for now, so that you guys can see what's on my phone screen. Because if I were to show you it in what I was about to show you, everything would be like backwards. But here's a little. Let's see if I can get this to happen. Okay, here is the app. This is hard to do. This is really hard to do. Okay. Um, in the app, there is. No, go back to this. Okay. There's all these things. So we have on the top, there's the episodes, the audio episodes, then the video episodes. You can book lessons and video calls. Community events are going to be there. We're going to have a community chat. So it's like text messaging literally inside the app. So if you look under the community chat where it says community chat beta and you see my profile, you can actually create a profile where it has some of your information, And then if you're posting on the forums or commenting on the videos or whatever, and somebody else sees it and like, man, this guy, if whatever, they can click on your profile, see where if you put it to be public, they'll be able to see where you live. You might find out that they live right next to you, and you can just send them a private message through the community chat. And practice together or shoot tournaments together. You can follow along with the community events. You can post on the forums, like what you're talking about in the private Facebook group. The Journey members thing is going to show everybody that's involved in it. There's notifications for anything. Like if you go here in that, you'll have any of the documents. I'm going to have episode notes in there and summaries of the episodes. This is very hard to do this way. How do I? Hold on. I can't right now. I would have to log in to show you the profile and the other stuff. But yeah, it's all going to be there. So like if you click this, I believe everything will be in here. If you click one, let's see, if you were to click one of these, you'll be able to comment and stuff. But anyways, it's pretty cool. So everything will be on there. That way you don't have to figure out, oh, do I go to this website or do I go to that website, or where do I go on whatever. Everything's going to be in one little thing. It'll send you a little notification if you want it to. A bunch of cool stuff. And it'll be really fun. So that way everyone can kind of communicate with each other, hang out, post fun things. I'm going to be involved in that a lot. Okay, I'm going to switch this back. There we go. Journey pregnancy tracker. Yeah, oh yeah, sorry guys. I did change the video, but I forgot to transition it. Here, I'll do it again. Transform, flip horizontal. Now transition. Okay, so now I'm backwards. Or unbackwards. But here's this. So that was the screen I was showing you. I'll have the episodes, audio episodes, video episodes, book lessons and video calls, like the community events, community chat, forums, your profile, all the different members, notifications, forms and documents. As I go, that'll build up and change and get better too. There'll be more features involved in there. I have other plans too, but this will just be like the first release. Not available yet. It's in the process of being approved. It's already, I coded it all, built it all, everything is good to go. It's just in the process of being approved to be put on the App Store, and it's taking longer than I would have liked. I would normally the process only takes, they basically say it takes 2 to 4 weeks. I'm getting into the 4-week thing, so it's gonna happen. When I say that it's coming out, it's not like I'm in the process of developing it. I already built it, I coded it, I finished it, and I sent it into the application of being able to be approved. So and it's going to be approved. There's nothing on there that's not legitimate to be on the App Store. So it's going to be approved. It just sometimes takes a while. A wall of lefty guitars. That's funny. No, I do not. That would be pretty crazy. But I have to do it that way just for my own OCD, because so I'm not in the middle of the app of the chat. No, there will not be any monthly membership fees for that. I would like to try to make the podcast is always going to be free. They're over time dependent on. So just to be fully transparent with you, the amount of money that it costs to host that app is ridiculous. It's more expensive than a car, and the depending on, so right now, if you saw in there, it said chat and then in parentheses beta. That's because I'm testing out how it works. To host like chat there's a difference between forum posting and actual like text message style messaging or chat inside of an app. To do that at with a high volume of active peak connections, which means like how many people are using it at one time, you start getting into like thousands of dollars a month just for the chat on top of the app itself. So the app itself is very, very expensive, but if that app grows enough to where I need a high level of peak connections, which would be like if a bunch of people are in real time using that texting thing, then I am going to I'm not going to I'm not going to pay $5,000 a month, and like it has to pay for itself. So what's going to happen though is I'd never want to make it to where the content of the podcast has a paywall on it. That will never happen. What I will do though is probably, if it gets to that point, I have no idea if it will. It's a beta thing, so we're going to test it out. Right now, that has the ability to have a pretty high level of peak connections that I don't think we're going to hit bandwidth issues with that for a little while. So that's not that bad. I'm not worried about paying it what it is right now. But in the future, if it does end up costing that much, what I'm going to do is probably do things like fundraising stuff. I'll probably do like, I might go buy a Polaris and then, sell tickets for somebody to win it. So you might be able to win a Polaris, for $100, $20,000 Polaris for $100 or something. But that's, the size of the audience of the podcast would be big enough to where that type of thing would be worthwhile, and that's about the same population density of people that would be using the app that I would need to start to pay for that kind of stuff. So, but I mean, it's there. I mean, right now, every episode, the only thing that allows me to have really good analytics is Apple Podcasts. So just in the Apple Podcasts alone, there's thousands of people listening to the episodes, so it's probably going to happen fairly soon. I would say I would like to get to there in about a year or a year and a half, and that'd be cool. So we'll do that. Yeah, simultaneous connections is the biggest thing. Gary, did I buy the banjo when you moved to Arkansas? When I moved to Arkansas, I didn't. I actually did buy the banjo. I want to show you guys. This is pretty cool. Have you ever seen a more badass looking banjo than this? I mean, it doesn't get cooler than that. All black. No, I'm not going to play it for you guys because I'm in the process of learning how to play the banjo. I played guitar my whole life, but banjo, about 4 months. Also, I would say I'm probably doing you all a favor. Even if I was a skilled banjo player, I don't think anybody here would want to be listening to the banjo. Austin, if you want to message me privately, you can. I'll do this. If any of you guys want to message me privately, just shoot a text message to that. I realize that's probably a terrible idea. I'm gonna get a bunch of stuff, but I'll respond. Let's see. Yeah, Nate, I mean, I'm going to do the same thing with Parazzi's, Polaris or whatever. There's a bunch of different things I can do. Yeah, as far as like the videos and like training videos and stuff, um, I, you know, there's a separation of content. Like the the podcast, I'm not really teaching you how to shoot. I'm talking to you about things that aren't like mechanics and stuff, because I can't really do over a podcast. I can't really teach you to shoot the mechanics that I teach, so that's different. I would have to do videos, and if I did do videos like that, I don't know what I would do, but it's who knows. Okay, so, but yeah, great ideas, Austin. It's really cool. Curtis has a question. When practicing for the average shooter, do you feel it matters that what shells a person uses? Do you feel practicing with one's premium shells is worth it? Yeah, Haas, my hat. um, the Okay, so sorry, I'm reading other questions as I'm also trying to think about answering Curtis's. I mean, it really depends. The question is, if I answer the question just directly, is it worth practicing with premium shells? Yes, if those are the shells that you use in a tournament. Why? Because every shell is different, and the more that you use the same exact thing that you use in practice, the more connected and proprioceptive everything works in harmony with itself. So, does that make a difference? Yes. Is that influenced by the fact that I'm sponsored by a shell company and I represent a company? Honestly, no. Um, the Because that's just the science behind it. If you're consistently changing speeds and consistently changing a bunch of different stuff in the way that you're practicing, does it make a big enough difference to make you miss if you go from a 1200 to a 1300 and do the exact same thing? No, not really. But where you do see a difference is the hardness and the consistency of the breaks. Like if you're always using one shell, you really do get dialed in. And if you're changing a lot, your breaks aren't going to be as hard. So that does make a difference. It also makes a difference so that you're not consciously aware of a different feeling recoil in a match and stuff like that. But so that's just answering that question. If I get into incorporating everything about trying to get better into answering that question, then it's more of a give and take, because the other variables that you have to take into account are how much money that do you have to spend on your practice. Like how much expendable income do you have, and are you dedicating towards your practice and shooting? If it doesn't matter to you, then always use the same shells. If it does, and you have a limited budget, and using premium shells is going to influence the amount that you can practice, well, the question would be, how much does it influence the amount? And if it's a big enough number that it actually will make a difference for how much you can practice or how many shots you can take during practice, and I would say, dependent on where you are at in the game, then you might want to look at shooting a less expensive load in practice and your premium load for practice. Another thing is availability of ammunition. There's a lot of different variables in the answer to that question. But yeah, it's a case by case basis, but it's a good question. No beanie, bots, dog, or tie train. I feel cheated. uh, I feel like I missed a question in that. I remember thinking or reading one and not seeing. Uh, did I miss somebody's question? Let me know if I did. Yeah, Nate, 7/8 ammo is freaking awesome. I'm seriously on. This is gonna sound crazy, but I seriously am considering about to shoot that in tournaments. I just love the way it feels. The recoil is so good. Um, but before I make the decision on that, I'm very curious about how this new stuff from Game Boy is. That is, it uses like quad seal technology, and they can have a much less basically the wad. It uses quad seal technology, which has a way better pressure seal, like gas seal, to maintain pressure and not have anything. Um, I'm gonna get the number wrong, so I don't want to say it. But there's a pretty big percentage uh, difference in terms of how much pressure it maintains based off of the seal of that wad, and so they're able to use a much smaller uh, load of it requires much less pressure to generate the same speed and performance and energy transfer at the target. So I'm very curious to see what that feels like, because I think with that it's going to be pretty amazing. So I'm really really excited about to try that stuff. Yeah, Haas, they're amazing shells. Um, yeah, the Game Boy 7/8 ounce. I don't think they make an Evo 7/8, so it was probably a white gold at 1300, and they are awesome. No, you definitely do not lose anything with 7/8s. They're you literally do not. Sometimes, honestly, you almost wonder, like, am I hitting these harder than normal? It's amazing. Okay, so Jeremiah, if I had the ability to set a few targets, what would they be? Speed, distance, presentation. Give me your filter for that. Are you talking about in a tournament? Are you talking about? Are you asking me like, what if I just was able to get creative? What targets would be fun for me to set, or if you have the ability to set targets for you to be able to practice as good as possible, what targets would I recommend you set, or is it a practice or for a tournament or what? Let me know. 1312. That's interesting. Yeah, white golds. Oh, hey, Dave. Thank you. It's good to see you guys. Just got off the phone with Christine. Um, yeah, that was fun. It's always good to see you guys. Hopefully, you had a safe trip back. A Zoom meet would be very cool. Yeah, it would be cool to have all of us on there. Let's do that. That's a good question. Let's do. Okay, I just created a thing. Let me know. It would be chaos. Chaos is Dave's style. I do. I live in a state of chaos. Dang. A lot of you guys. Okay, so you're saying to practice. The best, the. Oh, I wonder if I can. I have an idea. Hang with me for a second, guys. I'm gonna draw something and then share my screen. I am not an artist, so let me tell you that. Okay. This is horrible. This is really bad. Wow. I really need to think about if I even want to share the way this looks. What in the hell? Okay, whatever, let's try it. Okay, so if you can see this, this is terrible, but basically, a really good practice setup, if you can walk around, is this little setup. If you only have 4 traps, I would do this is a left to right crosser, right to left crosser. Then this one I drew right here is like a teal, like a incoming belly teal, and then a trap bird going out. If you have more traps, you don't need to add quartering birds or anything, because by moving around, like if you stand right here, you know, then you create quartering birds. You can stand here and create quartering birds. If you have more traps, with the crossing targets, add layers of height. So like put another trap there and, you know, have one at 30 degrees, 45 degrees, and 60 degrees of an incline, and just mirror that on each side. And if you have that practice set up, you can pretty much accomplish any drill that you would ever want to do. It's a very valuable practice routine. That's what I'd recommend. I know I do. I have really bad ADHD, and there's nothing wrong with chaos. If you guys think that it's chaos, like knowing me, you should listen to the chaos that goes on in my head every day. It's a mess. Teams, you can download an app just like YouTube, and if you got a smartphone, you can do exactly what we were talking about. That would be cool. Microsoft Teams. I mean, honestly, it would be pretty cool to build that into my app. I wonder how I could do that. It would probably be insanely expensive, so never mind. Yeah, there's not a happy little tree. I should have put a little tree in that. I love you guys too. Oh. You know what? We're pinning this. I need to remember this. I'm just kidding. I'll get rid of it. As far as distance goes, I mean, it depends on how much you can walk forward and backwards. I mean, I like to get pretty good distance, but if you can make it to where that box is. I mean, I think probably what's good enough is if you can walk back and have the crossers at a purely perpendicular angle to you, have the crossers be, the furthest back you can get is 70 yards. Not saying you're going to be shooting from 70 yards, but that if you have that, I mean, eventually you will be working into being able to shoot those birds at 60 yards. So I would do that. I should also say, with that setup there, um, for good practice, give the birds, start off, do this transition the first time you set it and you're practicing on it. Have the birds show some belly, and then play around with different leans and stuff like that. But if you have the traps there and go in that line, and you keep those lines, but just modify, how much dome or belly you're seeing, and the speed, then you can practice so much of anything. That's awesome. Yeah, 100% organized chaos. I know that Joe Skull and Doug Vine are setting for the Jack Links. Do you know who the third target setter is? I do not know, but I will text Joe right now and ask him. Joe Skull is hilarious. Uh, he was texting me that. Well, maybe I shouldn't. Never mind. I'll ask him. We'll see if he gets back before the end of this. I can put crossers at 22. Oh, perfect, Ron. That's perfect. I enjoy these too. That's a lot of fun to do this. And the more that we do, the more stuff we'll do. To give you guys a little example of what's coming. We're gonna. I don't know if I can show this. I might get in trouble with what I'm about to do, but we're gonna do it anyway. I got some cool stuff coming. I'm probably gonna get in trouble. Well, we like chaos anyway, so who cares? Let's see, where is this picture? Screenshots. Definitely not screenshots. I'm going to eventually, pretty soon, we're gonna do some really cool stuff with bear pelt. Okay, I'm gonna give a really fast little sneak peek on something. I'm gonna do it on my phone so you guys can't get a good enough view of it, because I don't want to get in too much trouble. It's not that crazy. I mean, but we're gonna do. Okay, so we know the answer to this poll, and we're gonna do one more. Start a poll. Okay, vote on that poll, and we'll see what happens. So far, we got red in the lead. Lots of people picking red. I'm gonna give a little hint. You might want to pick green. Oh, we got blue winning now. Blue at 50%. So what are the other ones at? Man, green is... God dang. Just my face. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we'll let it run a little bit longer. And, yeah, come on, we gotta do green. Good night, Lily. It was good having you. Can I even see the green? Well, I can tell you, maybe I don't know the difference between the green and the blue. Or red and the green, I guess it would be. Man, I even get my colors mixed up when I'm talking about them. Okay, I'm gonna end the poll, and I'll play extra green. Okay, this is just one thing, but it's gonna be fast. You're not gonna see it good, but we may be doing some really cool thing like this that we're not gonna allow you to see. It's purposefully blurry. Yeah, here, just take a look at this. Really cool stuff. Whoa, okay, that's all we get to see. But anyways, the the DNR. So that'd be cool. But anyways, like for part of the community stuff, I would really love to like get on here, design some vests with you guys, take input. We can. So here's one cool thing that I want. No, I can't. I'm gonna get in trouble. I can't. Sorry. I already released enough information. I'm gonna get busted. Selling screenshots. Yeah, but yeah, that would be cool. A camo vest would be pretty awesome. Yeah, I can barely see the green. Okay, what did Jason the Lester, here's a question. How do you find my availability for lessons in Arkansas? I will just put it up. I know. I am. Also, I do come to Texas. I was actually just in Texas. I'm probably gonna be there pretty soon. Again, maybe like a month or two. Probably about 2 months. But I try to come there a couple times a year. I always teach at West Side. It's in Houston, but it's a really beautiful club if you've never been there. Nate, I was on the phone today working on coming up with a plan to go up to that area. So, Joe, that's a really good idea. And actually, I thought that was already the case. If it's not, I'll get that on the website so that you can do that. Dave, the targets in Arkansas are really good. So I set the targets, and I also have my robots, so they can be anything. It's actually a really nice setup. Yeah, Nate, what are some of the biggest? What's the biggest club up there? I don't really know. Free range shooting for practice. You can pay me in eggs. How's that sound? Oh man. This is a lot of fun. Not free, but no stand. What? I want to have so many eggs. Oh my goodness. The biggest is the 20th bird in my. It's called. That's the name of the club, Nate? The 20th? I've never heard of that. Hmm. I'm curious. What is that? '20th, yeah, 20th Skeet and Clays. What a weird name for a gun club. Oh, it looks beautiful though. Oh, wow. Cool, 5 stand. It's, I mean, I think I'm looking at the right one. It's called, it's in Hooksett, New Hampshire. Wow, this is cool. I mean, it looks small, but sporting place. They have a really nice website. What a cool place. Oh man, this place is awesome. Cool terrain. I like it. Just the difference in just the topography and the trees and stuff, like in different parts of the country, makes me miss, I mean, that's so gorgeous. Yeah, it does look like there's pretty good terrain. I mean, they only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pictures, but for their sporting clays course, but they look pretty cool. Well, so other people don't feel left out. Got this. That's pretty cool. Look at that right there. Yeah, I could set some mean feed test targets in there. Very artistic, beautiful picture right there. Really nice porta potty. Very cool. This is a cool place. Oh, now I love it. What a cool natural little shooting field or stand. That is really cool. Sweet. I love that. That looks awesome. Very cool. As Ron would say, freaking amazing. Ron, I hope you're still here and you heard me say that. Although no, I'm not gonna go there because I before that got released, I already had lessons scheduled, and as much as I would love to do that and go to that shoot, financially, if I win that shoot, I still don't make as much money as I would in the lessons, and that would be, and I would also have to pay to fly over there, and hotels and everything, and then which to me though, being somebody that loves to support stuff like that, like I mean I don't really care about the difference in money. I mean, I mean I would literally have to win, but even if I didn't win, I would still love to go over to do that, and I want to support those guys, and I'm very much supportive of that shoot. The biggest reason why why I decided not to go was because of the just having to reschedule stuff with people. I don't get to go to Florida that often. I do have a lot of students there, and so there wasn't really a way to fit it in my schedule. Had I known that was going to be there, I probably would have scheduled around it. But by that time, it was too late. If they do it again next year, I 100% will be in. So I'm bummed out about that because I'm friends with both those guys, and the pictures that they're putting up on the way that it looks like it's going to be an awesome tournament. And I really do believe that anytime somebody puts the effort into doing a shoot like that pushes the sport forward. Putting money in the sport like that, hosting an event like that. I don't know what it's going to be like there, but anytime anybody puts that much of effort into advancing forward the way that we look at things and play this game, I'm all about it, and so I like to try to support it. So I'm kind of bummed out that I was unable to. Well, so this is, I know you guys can hear me now, but so I just lost video, not because of anything, like basically my camera is telling me that the internal temperature is too high and it had to shut down to cool off. So we can run a poll, and I have no idea how long this is going to take to come back, but also it's been almost 3 hours. That sucks. I think it's because I got a new cord on my camera that runs 40. It's a Thunderbolt 4 cable, which probably charges it too much, and it's probably both. I'm running a DSLR or a mirrorless camera as a webcam. So that's probably, it was just basically charging and running too much. When you run a camera, like a mirrorless camera, recording video for 3 hours, generally that heats it up too much. That's for something that's happened, but that was pretty good. Yeah, why don't we do this? If there's anybody, is there anybody whose question I did not answer yet, and that is looking for an answer? And I'll answer it now, and then we'll just call it if not. Jason says there is one question. Advice on shooting under the lights. I'm gonna do this. Let me just do. Just so it's not boring to just see a no video screen, we're gonna go to videos. Let's do this. Cool person to watch, Nick Berry. And we'll pick a video. How about we go to Alright, I'm going to help my buddy out, and we are going to, so if you guys don't know who this is Nicholas Berry, and he just bought a gun club in He just bought a gun club in, where is it? I don't even know where it is. Here we go. We're just gonna watch one of Nick Berry's. Oh my gosh, he said I can't have that in my video. Oh, it's gotta be dramatic, man. I'm gonna get busted for that. I got a sneak attack on me right there. Yeah. What? That's as long as the video is? Well, let's not do that then. Here we go. We'll do this one. Okay, so your question, yeah. Anyways, Nick Berry he's a good dude. He just got a club in Idaho called Rocky Creek or Rock Creek or something, and he has a good YouTube channel. Anyways, here's Braxton. You know what? This is just making me realize what a cool thing to do would be to pull up some of his videos from tournaments and like annotate or what's the word I'm looking for? To like, what is, oh my gosh, like when you're watching a PGA event and they have the announcers, you know, talking about what they're seeing, this would be very cool to do. Oh man, that would be, I'm gonna start doing that. We'll have to do one of those one time. Why is there air? That's a great question. So who knows? But okay, so who was it that so Jason said advice on shooting under lights or black lights. I've never done it, plan to next month. I have never shot under black lights. I would love to do that. So yeah, commentate. Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Good night, Jeremiah. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you next time. So I've never shot under black lights. I do not know what that's like, but that sounds like, I bet you that is a blast. But the as far, I would imagine it's probably the, oh, I remember that station at that tournament. That was crazy. That kid, I will say, that kid has an advantage because he's short and he could see. When I shot that station, those targets were so high up in the air. I can't even, Haas, if you're still here and you shot that, tell me what that was like for you, because I'm only 6'3", and you're taller than me, and that was like, you couldn't even reach, my head was in the way. The targets were so high I couldn't see anything. But shooting under the lights is, everyone talks about it being different. I really don't see that it's different. The biggest difference is that you don't have good depth perception, and that's pretty much it. It's just, the biggest difference is just not having done it before, and it feels weird, so you kind of like don't really know what to do, and you kind of freak out, and then it causes you to have higher levels of barrel awareness, and that's all. So I would say the best thing you can do if you're shooting at night is to just not change anything. Don't spaz out, because it's, my ADHD is kicking in. It's hard for me to answer these questions right now. But yeah, I would just approach it the way you normally would shooting, and I don't think anything will change. Best advice is that to change nothing. And I had very good experience shooting the night with the PSCA. Sounds good, Damon. I got your text while you sent it, so yeah, I'll either call you or something tomorrow. Austin says, if you could buy a Perazzi MX2000, Kohler Max Light Sporting, DT11, K80, what and why? Retiring my old A391 Extrema 2. Oh, cool gun. So, to answer your question, I mean, everybody would expect me to say Perazzi, because that's, the gun that I shoot, and I have a contract with Perazzi, but I think it's important to say that I wouldn't say Parazzi because I'm paid to say Parazzi. I would say Parazzi because I picked to shoot a Parazzi. The short answer to why is because it's the only gun on that list that you can build from the ground up and have it not be a different price. And not very many people understand that, but if you work with somebody that knows how to custom spec out a Parazzi, also look, there's Sasquatch in the video. If you work with somebody, and nice representation by Bear Pelt, if you work with somebody that knows how to spec out a gun and build a Parazzi in any way that you would need for the style of shooting that you use or the game that you shoot, none of those other guns can be built that way. And anybody that would disagree with me on that would be, they wouldn't know what they're talking about. Can you have a custom built Krieghoff? Yeah, you can get a custom stock for a Krieghoff. You can pick different options in a Krieghoff, but you can't have the gun made where you say, oh, I want a 33.5-inch barrel and I want it to weigh 1.61 kilograms and I want the side ribs to be half length and ventilated, or full length and not ventilated, or half length not ventilated. I want the bore diameter to be 18.3 millimeters. I want the chamber length to be whatever you want. I want the top rib to start at 10 millimeters and taper down to 7, or I want it to start at 7 and taper down to 5, or I want it to start at 7 and taper up to 10. I want there to be a 3 millimeter tram line, a 5 millimeter tram line. I want to lighten or not lighten the monoblock. You can literally go through and completely build a Parazzi exactly the way that you want, and influence it to move and handle recoil and point better than any other gun, because there's no other gun that has that level of customizability anywhere close to that price range. And the thing that people don't understand about that is it literally costs the exact same money to be able to do that with a Parazzi as it would to go into a dealer and buy one. So to do all that doesn't change the price, because every Parazzi that's ever built is built that way. It's just ordered by the dealer in a specific build. So it's as good as it gets. And on top of that, you get custom stock dimensions for the price of the gun. So getting a custom stock with a Parazzi does not increase the price. It's because the way that they build it, it has to be custom built. So 100% that's the way to do it. And so that's just talking about how you can build the gun. But when it comes to how the gun is actually built, and you talk about like the mechanical specs of the gun, it's the same thing. I mean, I plan on doing a whole video about this so I can go in depth about it more, but in my professional and personal opinion, there's nothing better. Good night, Chris. What he is saying is you can't proprioceptize any shotgun other than a proprioceptize. I like it. I'm gonna make a vest that's called that. The propriocepta. That sounds to me like a magic pill or something. I don't even know. Man, I'll tell you what, it sounds like. I mean, I do sell Parazzis, but it sounds like maybe with the profit margin in eggs right now, I maybe want to start to get into that. Yeah, no joke. Okay, so let's do this, guys. Real quick, I'm just curious. Actually, I'm not even gonna ask that question because I'm gonna do it anyways. I'm gonna talk to Nick and see if he'd be interested in doing like a being in on a podcast on one of these Wednesday night hangouts, and I can like prep together a video of the videos that he makes, and I can commentate on the shooting and It'll be a cool little episode to be live. We can go over, talk about people shooting. We can ask questions, can clarify the difference between all the different pros. It'd be pretty cool. And non-pros. Oh, this is cool. A little quarterfinal back and forth make or break action. Very cool. Looks like Dom. I don't know who that is. No, that's not Dom. So not to pick on this guy here, but if you see some of his movement back and forth, he's using his hands to move horizontally, and actually right there too. You see the separation between the plane of the eyes and the plane of the gun, and there's like you see right there how, look at the difference between how much the end of the barrel is moving and how much the body and head is moving. And so what's happening is they're actually physically losing a proprioceptive connection in the shot and being forced to have it done slightly visually because that relationship is not staying constant. So the way that shots will feel shooting this way is that the connection, the amount of time that the connection is felt physically, will be closer towards the end of the shot. Like on that shot right there, he just missed the 6, and you can see. I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's pretty cool, actually. Okay, watch the way that he shoots the 6 on the way up. You'll see his hands, the front of the hands, push the gun, and it doesn't move in relation to his head. You see that right there? So that, we'll go back again one more time. Basically, his brain didn't know where his gun was because his gun was in a different relationship to his eyes as it normally is, because he moved his hands because the bird looked fast to him because he didn't see it good, and that caused him to miss. So that's why good mechanics is really, really important. That guy did the same move, he just did it better and it worked. Same thing there. Very cool. I mean, this is not me saying these guys are not good shooters. It's just me. It's just, you know, wow, that was a great shot. Little Amy on that one. That would be pretty cool. A tournament amongst ourselves using single shot 410s and have to quick reload. I am so in. I don't even own a 410 though, so I might not be able to do it. Dang. Okay, guys. Well, I think I'm going to call it because I don't have lead reduction. I don't have any video, and I don't want to ruin my camera. So we'll see you guys next time. And thank you again all for being here. I'm going to be doing another video. We will meet back here on this coming Monday for I wonder if he's going to shoot the plane. For an educational part 2 version of the recorded episode that I released 2 days ago. And so I'll be teaching you guys some stuff and incorporating your questions into that, and then helping you put together practice routines based off of everything that we learned in the episode that was released 2 days ago and in the stuff I will be presenting on Monday. So again, thank you guys all for coming. I always enjoy hanging out with everybody. Have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. If you could see me, I would be waving goodbye. Adios.